Hi, I'm Peter Slowik. I teach at Oberlin Conservatory, and in this video series called A More Excellent Way, if you want to know more about that, look at 1 Corinthians 12:31. A more excellent way, we'll be talking about ways you can use your brain to make your practicing and learning more effective. So, today I'm going to talk about 3 subjects. First is that you should really listen to your teacher. Who's your teacher? Well, I'm sure you have an excellent person you go to once a week because you're watching videos like this. You have people around you who care. That person you see once a week. You see another person every day when you practice. And that's you. So you are your most important teacher. Make sure that when you're practicing, you understand the goals that your teacher has for you, what they want you to do, how long they want you to do it, why they want you to do it, so that you can follow through on those things. If a certain goal, like playing with a straight bow, is important to your teacher, but it's not important to you, it's not going to happen. So make sure that you become your own teacher. Make sure that you understand everything your teacher wants you to do. You have another teacher, and I'm not talking about the person you see once a week. I'm talking about somebody else you see every day. And that is your instrument. Your instrument will tell you what it wants you to do. Do you have a dog or a cat at home? Do they like the same thing that your neighbor's dog or cat does? When you come to a new animal, do you try a few techniques, playing with the ears really hard, or trying to rub the tummy just to see what they like? And does the animal tell you how they like to be petted? Oh yes, I like it very much when you rub my tummy. No, please don't use my ears. I have a phobia about people touching my ears. No, the animal doesn't tell you except by the body language and how easy or difficult it is to do the thing that you're trying to do. So your instrument will do the same thing. Listen to your instrument. Don't force your instrument to do something that it doesn't want to do. It's not going to be happy for you or the instrument. So remember, the wonderful teacher that you have, that you see every week, is the third most important teacher. You are your most important teacher. If you get better, it'll be because of your work and your understanding. Your teacher will help along the way, but it's really up to you. And your instrument is your partner in this whole operation, and you should listen to it, and then you'll cooperate really well. The second point I'd like to give you for some brain work today is to think of playing as not one process. I'm going to practice, I'm going to get better. Think of practicing in 2 separate ways. First, don't do things wrong. Second, do them right. Now that sounds really simple and maybe pointless to separate them out. But I found through years and years of teaching that it's important to eliminate the negatives in our playing, to get our playing to neutral, and then within that neutral platform to build up new techniques that we can rely on. Let me give you an example. If I'm working on intonation, if I'm working on shifting, and I'm working with a student to develop maybe a flow of the arm and shifting from the elbow or shifting from the shoulder instead of shifting from your finger, I will be 100% happy with that student playing out of tune during that process because they're learning new things. Perhaps for that student, playing in tune had relied on a lot of tension, a lot of wrong activity. So by taking away that anchor in their playing, they're instantly going to play worse. So be prepared as you're getting better to sometimes play worse along the way. Eliminate the negatives, even if there are things that have helped you do other things well. I've said for years that the process of practicing is more important than the result. The process is more important than the result. So practice with the right process to eliminate negatives in your playing, and then your playing will develop in a very natural, reliable, repeatable, because it's so natural, in a repeatable way. Then you can insert positives. Then you can do all your Sevchik and your Shradik and all those good kinds of things to build in patterns, do scale work, to build in patterns, positive patterns within the context of a neutral body position. So I've found we do different kinds of practicing when we're practicing not to make mistakes and when we're trying to play beautifully. The kind of practicing I do to not make mistakes is a really, really different kind of practicing than when I'm trying to be creative. When I try to play beautifully, I'm willing to make very, very many mistakes, just like now, to make many mistakes as I seek to find a new pathway that will be better. When I'm trying not to make mistakes, I'm trying not to make mistakes. So for technical work, it's important to eliminate the negatives before you add in positive repetitions. And for artistic work, it's very important to realize that that is a different kind of work, creating your best playing, than the kind of work you would do to eliminate your worst playing. A lot of people today like to watch 3 or 4 minute segments of videos. And in these longer videos about how to use your brain, maybe you can watch them in smaller segments yourself. So we talked already in this video about being your own teacher, about eliminating negatives and inserting positives. And the third point, which you could watch separately if you want to, is not to be embarrassed in front of yourself. Okay, let's talk about embarrassment. Is embarrassment good? I think it is. I think it's wonderful. Maybe you've had this situation happen. When I was growing up, my mom kept a very, very beautiful house with us, and it was always clean, it was always nice. But, in the course of the day, things get out of place. And so somebody would call and say, "Hey, I'm 5 minutes away, can I pop in?" And mad, frantic rushing around would be happening. You hid stuff, you put stuff in closets, you put stuff in the dishwasher, put these dishes in the dishwasher, whatever. And the clean house became a tidy and immaculate house. You're running around, you're throwing things, and you're talking, and then people come to the door and you say, "Hello, how are you? We've just been sitting around doing nothing all day. We're so glad you showed up." And so the little embarrassment you had about your house, which was probably just fine to begin with, was good. It allowed you to galvanize your energy and get ready for the visitor and making them feel really respected and really at home. So what happened when we were embarrassed? We hid things. We didn't take time to wash all the dishes. We put them in the dishwasher. We maybe didn't hang up every piece of clothing. We just put them in a drawer or a closet. So, what happens when you're embarrassed in front of yourself? You hide things. You don't confront things that you should confront. We do this all the time. Probably the easiest way is when we're encountering a piece of music that's difficult. And you say, "I don't really feel like practicing this today. I'll practice it tomorrow." Then tomorrow you practice the easy and fun stuff first, and you get to the hard passage 10 minutes before you're supposed to be finished and say, "I don't have the energy to contact that passage today, to address that passage. I'll do that tomorrow." And then tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps on this petty pace. Oh, that's Shakespeare. Never mind. So tomorrow always becomes tomorrow, and then it's the day before your lesson. You haven't practiced it because you didn't want to be embarrassed in front of yourself. You didn't want to make yourself feel bad about what you couldn't do. Next time you have a passage like this, put that on your list first. Practice it the first day, and then the next day you're less embarrassed, the next day you're less embarrassed altogether, and then you have a great lesson. Your teacher assigns you harder stuff until you're embarrassed again. No. And also, don't be embarrassed about truths about your playing. Your teacher is telling you things about your playing that they want you to hear and to recognize and to know. If they're saying you don't pull a straight bow, don't say, "Not me, I pull a straight bow. I couldn't possibly do that." No, don't be embarrassed about the fact that you can't do it. It's just something you have to work on and master. So, to recap the 3 points for this month's video. 1, your teacher that you go to every week is the number 3 teacher. Number 1 teacher is you. Number 2 teacher is your instrument. And your 3rd teacher is your teacher you go to every week. Point number 2, eliminate negatives first in your playing and then insert positives. And point number 3 is don't be embarrassed in front of yourself. I'm so much looking forward to being with you once a month to give you some Jedi mind tricks that you can use to build up your practicing. You have great teachers, and you'll see some great videos here on the Cradle Club website that will tell you how to do specific things. But the way you employ those from day to day in your own practicing, because remember, you're your number 1 teacher, will have a pivotal effect in how you continue to get better. So I sincerely look forward to next month being with you in the 1 Corinthians 12:31, more excellent way. Behold, I'll show you a more excellent way. Take care.